Welcome in, everybody. My name is Dan Bearden, and I am coming to you remotely from Orlando, Florida, in the lobby of a very busy hotel. They would not get me a conference room, so they're going to have to deal with me.
It's almost like they didn't know who they were dealing with.
Time.
You know? Jeez.
I tried to tell them, but it didn't come off right, I guess.
No, those are hit or miss,
So,
and listen, everyone listening in here, Dan was texting with me this morning and he's like, sorry for any video issues that might pop up. Like, I'm working off a remote connectivity and Wi-Fi. And I reassured him that his face on our video here would more than make up for any quality issues we might be experiencing. So everyone just make sure to focus on Dan, not the beautiful background and the people coming up asking if you'd like a refill on his water.
Well, I'll take that. I appreciate it. I will say I streamed last night, and one of the ladies working came up to me afterwards, and word for word, as I was like packing up, she was like, I was like, hey, sorry if you thought I was crazy. And she goes, oh, you were doing your thing. We were impressed. I was like, cool.
That's awesome. Everyone appreciates the hustle these days, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. So it's going to be fun. But let me introduce. We have Dr. Nick's over here. Nick, how you doing?
Fantastic. Big day, man. Excited to be here. Excited to see everyone piling in. Thanks for coming as always. Much appreciated. Big day though. Not much sleep last night getting ready for it. So I'm a little rusty this morning, but that's okay. Doing good.
Yeah. I hear you. I've got very, very little sleep. I am on Violet Patrol all vacation, and yeah, that says it all.
That it does, man. Those kids will take it right out of you.
No doubt. Because she doesn't sleep the best away from home, so I have to corral her. It was like 3 different times last night, and then she woke up at 5:30. But hey, she's cute.
Do you have to do the thing where you like put her in the back seat of the car and like drive around the circles in like the parking lot for an hour to get her to fall asleep kind of thing?
No, because
she sleeper?
Never once. She will, but she'll never get out asleep. She wakes up immediately. So not easy.
See, I was that kid, man. My parents would need to drive me around as a kid, and like I'd either wake up in the car or I would just wake up inside and have no idea how I got there. Which, I'm speaking of early childhood. I feel like I had that same experience, like right after high school, right, like college years, right? It's like, it's funny how things go full circle like that. Completely different reasons, though.
So true. But yes, everybody, we do have a big day today. If you don't mind, hit a thumbs up on the stream. This will stay up forever and hopefully be used as like a guide to people that are curious about these products. And I think we jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and show what is live and ready. It is a pinned comment in the chat. And then Nick's going to break down each product specifically, what they do, why we came up with certain formulas. But if we can get a drum roll, please. Boom. We have the shower products are live.
They are live.
They are live.
And ready to roll. Do you just want to run through them in order here?
What's that? Yeah, absolutely. And we'll go through and break these all down. But no, I think we start with the sexiest one.
Start with the beard wash.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's exactly where I was at.
Let's start with the beard wash here then. So okay. Lots of good things to cover here with the beard wash. So first of all, when you click on the product at the site, it's listed as beard wash, and we're likely going to have, some other additions to this shower products line here coming up. But for right now, the beard wash is the only one of all these products that does have 2 size options. So we offer this in a 4 and an 8 ounce bottle, and you can select that there on the site. Quantities are limited right now of the 8s. So if that's what you want, I'd get on it quick, because I would not be surprised if they, for a brief period between now and Monday, are sold out. And we're just basically putting together more raw materials, right? We kind of got this launch ready to roll. And as anyone who follows us and knows us, It's Jill and I, and occasionally a couple other people. We had some pretty good help for this one, though. I will say the force was strong with this one. That was just for Dan. And we got all hands on deck to push these things out. So what's to note about this, right? Like, what's different about the Dr. Nick's beard wash? What is it? Why is it awesome? And all the other things that we typically cover, right? So diving right into that, this is a hemp beard wash. So the primary oil used as the basis for the saponification process inside of this liquid soap is hemp seed oil. And if you look down into the ingredients, you'll see something else that stands right out because it's the very first ingredient. And I dare you to go find another beard wash at this price point that has its first ingredient listed as aloe. The very first ingredient in this, meaning it is the highest concentration of anything else in this wash, is aloe. And just like everything else we do, this is all natural. It's handmade. And I'll get more on that in a moment on the handmade piece. Took some teamwork on this one, and we'll tell you about those people here in a minute. But this is again, all natural, plant-based, vegan, mostly organic, but if not fully plant-derived ingredients list. And the 2 stars of the show, which I list right on the first part of the description, is definitely the aloe and the hemp seed oil. This basically means that anything that is a soap activated material inside of this soap comes from raw plant-based oils, which you'll find in some high-end kind of soap product lines, personal care product lines. Thank you for popping that up there so we get the full list of ingredients. You can see here, there's no harsh detergents, and there's no silicones or any of these other fillers that we have in there. I mean, this is all good stuff. And you look at some of these names and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like a plant-derived name. It is. A lot of these are basically the only thing in here really that could stand out to you as not being an obvious plant name are the phenylhexanol and the ethyl hexaglycerin. And those are actually, like you see right here on the site, are eco-certified paraben-free preservatives. So all that's doing is basically stabilizing this and helping the shelf life and making sure that the homogenization of this product sticks and actually lasts and maintains itself. And you don't get any separation. That's a big problem with natural soaps that don't use some kind of plant-based preservative or stabilizer, is you can get separation, and you can get sometimes, if it sits for long enough, some of those soaps don't reconstitute properly. So this formula not only is just a really good high-end premium oils based ingredient list, it's also kind of the best of both worlds, right? It does derive some of these things from the plant-based ingredient world, but with a note on stabilization. But jumping right back into the good stuff here, on the pH side of this, a lot of the beard washes out there, going back and forth with Dan, right? We obviously piloted a lot of stuff, worked with a lot of different recipes to kind of get this right. I think the easy route for liquid soaps lands you somewhere between a 6 and an 8 on the pH scale. And this stuff is right at a 5.5. So it's a perfect 5.5 pH. When we first started testing this, I do what I always do, right? I reach out to our master of marketing here who's tried every product on the planet. And I say, hey, what's it going to take for me to come up with something that's going to replace your beard wash in your shower? And he was very, very specific about it, right? Go figure. Dan had specific requests in mind. And we basically had to meet that, right? If I wanted to replace what was in his shower, I had to get this just right. Jill and I had to nail it. So I think we did, right? He wanted a 5 to 5.5 pH. Check. Got the 5.5 pH. Needed to be all natural. It needed to be high foaming, right? It had to have a good lather to it. It had to have nice, tight bubbles. Now, something on that note. One of the other things, there we go. Mark Brown. There's your answer right there. It gets nice and sudsy. But to that point, what I didn't like about some of the beard washes that I've tried and some of the ones that I piloted as part of this process was, and this is such a nitpicky thing, I don't know if anyone else cares about it, but if you guys are watching this now and you do care, or if people are watching this video later and you're trying to understand if this product is for you, you might find this interesting. I take exception to either no lather, right? I don't like having this feeling of no lather in the beard wash. I can't tell what it's doing or where it is, and it's not talking to me. I don't like it. Now, what I also don't like is when you get those big fat bubbles, right? I don't want big, huge bubbles and foam on my face, right? Because I don't want it getting up into my eyes or my nose or my mouth. I want really tight bubbles. Like I want this thing to lather up with a nice, real thick foam that is reminiscent of what you'd see on like the top of a cappuccino or a latte, like really good, tight bubbles. And this does that. It's a really nice, thick, luxurious lather that you get out of this thing. And so something I that really stands out to me about this is other beard washes fell into one of two categories for me. I'd say 90% of them did. They were either too gentle and they wouldn't get the beard butter from the night before out of my beard, right? That's a challenge. Like you get the shampoo through, you get the wash through, you rinse, and the next thing you know, you still have some oil. And obviously that's no good for a daily wash. And then you go to like the really stripping side of things, right? I had one that I tested that was an 8.4 on the pH when I got it out of the bottle. I'm shocked I still have a beard. I tried it and it was way too stripping, right? Like it was literally like taking a razor blade down your hair with acetone on it. Like it was all the way stripped, and my beard was pissed for a couple of days. Was not happy. And so I knew that's not where we wanted to be. So we really, just like most of the stuff we do, we wanted to find a good, happy middle ground. I wanted to be able to get out the residual oils and pull out any additives you might have put in, like a beard butter from the night before. But I didn't want to have to completely rebuild my oil profile on my hair from the ground up every morning. So we wanted a daily wash that would get rid of the additional oils that you don't want, leave your skin oils intact, not dry out your skin, and create an ultimate landing zone for the moisture that's delivered by a conditioner. So that was critical, right? You need to have a good palette for conditioner to actually absorb into your hair. If you have too much oil in your hair, or on your hair rather, that's going to block your conditioner from actually doing its job, right? If you're encasing everything, start singing Tiny Bubbles. Perfect. Keep that going, Car Bomb. We need to enable audio for the chat so we could have some background music. And so, that'd be a slippery slope though, wouldn't it? So I'm thinking, that was really key, was trying to balance the daily wash aspect of something that would work and get rid of the oils you want where you don't want, keeping the ones you do, but then also creating an environment that was conducive to actually introducing new moisture from a conditioner and letting it do its job. So just to take a look at them in case you don't have the website up, these are the two variants that we have available on the site. It is both of these guys right here. You got a 4-ounce and an 8-ounce version. Sticks with the rest of our branding. And you'll notice on the site that all we have right now is number 7. Each time we run a new batch of this, I would say starting in December, we're going to be introducing additional signature series scents. So eventually you'll see on the site right now, it says available scent profiles is the number 7. Coming soon is 0, 9, 18, 21, etc. And we're going to basically go based on kind of preference of what people like. We're going to keep things in stock, and we're obviously going to put a little more juice behind the ones that seem to resonate a little better with you guys. And so we think the 4-ounce and the 8-ounce is a good option. There's going to be some bundles coming out soon. We're going to have these products included in a bundle for some Black Friday discounts as well coming up, but Dan's going to be announcing here with us shortly. But, back to the beard wash. If you want to do a quick little bullet list, it's, again, all natural. It's plant-based, aloe, hemp seed oil, perfect 5.5 pH, works great in conjunction with our conditioner, which we're going to talk about here next. And I mean, it's fantastic. I've been using it now for about 2 months straight, and I haven't used anything else for a daily wash or conditioner but this regimen that I have here. And I mean, everything is just soft, nice. I mean, everything's really, really nice. I mean, it's gets the butter out in the morning. I'm not over dried throughout the day, and I don't get that feeling that you get from the stripping shampoos where it feels like you got a handful of hay on your face. You don't want that unless it's extreme circumstances and you're working under a car and get your face covered in motor oil or something, maybe you need a good stripper like the Gojo of beard washes. But short of some pumice stone working all those things out of your beard, you usually don't need that, right? So I think it's the perfect daily wash. And I think that'll lead us right into talking about the conditioner. What do you think?
Yeah. And my experience is almost identical there. Essentially, we came up with this plan, sent out some original testers, and felt it was just a little bit too stripping. And Nick and Jill worked their magic and adjusted the pH and the ingredients accordingly. We weren't just going to settle at that first one. We were very open. We were very honest with each other. And it turned out so good, guys. It is such a good daily gentle wash, truly. So, killed it, you guys know. And the number 7 works so beautifully with this blend.
It does. I'm interested to see what some of the others will do. I've tested a little bit with obviously Zero, right? We've gone unscented with these, and because it's an all natural soap, you do get a bit of a, lack of a better word, a little soapy aroma to it.
Yeah.
But for people that are used to like unscented Castile soaps and things like that, it's going to be right there with what you expect. And a lot of people out there have asked for unscented washes, unscented soaps. And people like adding their own fragrance in too. That's totally okay. You can do so up to a 1% volume dilution inside of this. Yep. So that's a good thing to note as well.
And there is absolutely no lingering. The scent does not carry over. You don't have to worry about that. Literally none.
Nope. You come out smelling crisp and clean. It really does. It sticks to that really well. And I was going to point out something else about that before we went on the natural side of it. I forgot what it was. We'll come back to it. But
okay,
basically, we're going to see how these things perform, right? I mean, if we figure out that like a number 21 isn't exactly what you want in the shower, this might be a little deviation from the Signature series where like all scents are available in all products. We might say, hey, this one didn't work so well. We're moving past it. But that's to be seen, right? We'll get there. And of course, we're going to take everyone's feedback into consideration there as well. And, that's what I was going to mention. We talked about adjusting the pH and that kind of stuff in here. There's already, in the natural base from a preservative perspective in most natural soaps, a little bit of citric acid. And the citric acid that we used is actually a fully organic citric acid. It's food safe, and it comes from one of the top food processing labs in the world. It's a great spot, and the stuff that they produce is such high concentration and acidity that your volumes that you have to introduce are extremely low. So you're not going to get like that sour candy scent that you get out of a lot of them. There's a reason why a lot of soaps are citrus scented, and the reason for that is because of the citric acid content they put in. They have to use so much citric acid to combat the high pH that it actually gives a little bit of a natural citrus aroma itself. And that's why I think a lot of people lean into that and go primarily citrus scents for some of these washes. I don't think I'm too far off there. And the good news about this stuff is that it's so strong, it doesn't introduce any citrus smell. So like the number 9 we have obviously has a little bit of citrus in it, but it's a little more lavender and sandalwood forward. That's going to come through just fine with no hints of anything else on top of it. So, that was really nice in the sense that we found a really good partner to hook up with to be able to adjust final chemistry of finished soaps, which is
awesome.
Great. Yeah.
And then to touch on Evan's comment here, this is a great point to bring up since we're talking about shower products. Your water table will make a difference in the experience. Hard water versus soft water, depending on well water, city water, all these different things play a factor in how a product will suds up, how it'll make you feel afterwards. And most of you know this because you've been on vacation and you've felt different on your skin. It's not the soap, it's not the products, it's the water. So great point there, Evan. I do on my Dancy Bearded channel, I have a video on, if you just look up hard water versus soft water, Dancy Bearded, I break it down why this happens, and I give some advice and tips and tricks on how to adjust. So great point there. I am highly confident that this beard wash will work for all water tables, though.
Yeah, and you know what I was thinking on that too, Dan, is experimenting between the office here at our building and back at home. We're in different towns, and what's really interesting is that here at the office we're on filtered well water. So we actually have a well on the property that feeds everything we do here at the building, and it comes in through a pump and a filter, and it's groundwater. And what I've noticed is that after using the wash, my beard feels drier at home than it does here at the office because the natural mineral content here at the office is higher and there's no introduction of bromine.
Yep.
So I'm sure you talk about this in your hard water video. In fact, I think I remember seeing it, is that the additives people use between chlorine, bromine, all those things, it's different from town to town, right? You could have
Yep.
two adjacent towns and one uses bromine, one uses chlorine. Bromine has this natural effect. I mean, you love Mountain Dew so much, and they don't use brominated vegetable oil in that anymore. So, your insides are doing better now that they cut that out. But they still use bromine in our water. So, what I've noticed, though, this is interesting, is that although my beard feels very different here at the office versus at home after the wash, after I use the conditioner, it feels identical between the two washes. So that's really something interesting to note, is that although the wash might make you feel a little different, the conditioner experience should kind of level that playing field a little bit.
And I think that is a perfect time. Let's segue into the beard conditioner.
Wha-bam! That is our beard conditioner, and you can notice we did it nice so you can tell the difference in the shower, make it nice and convenient to look at. We got the nice little black and white kind of contrasty bottle designs there, and I think that was a lot of fun figuring out. But I think it was a fun deviation from our normal branding. They look great together, and the conditioner is awesome. So one thing to really note about this thing. This was really focused on being a softening conditioner. There's a lot of, because obviously we're a full line of products, right? And we're not co-packed, right? We don't go to a supplier and say, give us a line of men's care products, and they throw everything at you. So what that affords us to do is make sure that our products are kind of geared towards working with one another. And if you look at a lot of conditioners out there, they use a process called super fatting. And the super fatting process is the idea that, well, without getting too far into soap chemistry, with whatever you're going to use to eat the oil, right? Typically in bar soap, it's something like a lye, and sodium, hydroxide in the liquid soaps. And what's interesting is that the content of soap and washing that you have is equal to the amount of oil that's consumed by those chemicals and those processes in the soap process, in the saponification process. So if you think about that, super fatting is something that conditioners leverage heavily. And what that means is that there is oil fats left over after the saponification process. So what that does is it leaves some residual oils in your beard after you use the conditioner. It replenishes some of the stuff the wash took away. But since I know you guys, and I know, like me, for example, I use a beard oil right out of the shower, right? I get my beard towel dry. I apply beard oil. On a dry day, I'll even apply a little bit of extra butter just down the length of the beard, because I can get a little dry down here at the bottom if I don't. So did I want a super fatted conditioner? No, right? I wanted to reintroduce those oils the way that I wanted to reintroduce them. I didn't necessarily want them to be there right after the shower. I wanted a nice clean palette. So what we went with is a mixture that really lends itself to adding in a softening feel and really softening the hair follicles and getting it, without leaving oils. How do you make something soft? Well, if you look at the second ingredient in this, it is a conditioner / softener. And again, the first ingredient in this conditioner is aloe. So you can see there, that second ingredient right there, that is a conditioner softener. The next ingredient after that, right, the cetyl alcohol, Don't think of that as a bad alcohol. It's not a drying alcohol. That is good stuff. That is fatty acids. And those fatty acids are rich in moisturizing, nourishing ingredients. And that works really well with the vitamin E that's left over from the wash, right? So the wash lends itself to the missing components, I think, of the conditioner. However, if used in the same bottle as a co-wash or something like that, then they'd be fighting each other, right? You'd have this constant battle going on of get that out of here, put this in there. And they would end up just canceling each other out. But using them separately, you're able to really get that nice cleansing effect and then reintroduce that softening. And I know you talk about this. Yeah, and there it is right there. The cetyl alcohol in skincare is the cheap, versatile ingredient that you need. And man, it is a powerhouse. It is. Like when you get this stuff in your beard, I will point something out to people. When Dan first tested this, he got it one day, and he got it, of course, in the mailbox in the afternoon. And he's like, ugh, I'm nervous about this one, Nick. And I was like, why? And he says, that's kind of lotiony. Like the texture comes out of the bottle. It reminds me of a lotion. And we all know how much Dan hates lotions. It's right up there next to bubbly, sparkling water in Star Wars. And and so he had me a little nervous. And then literally it was 8 o'clock the next morning and says, I take it all back. That stuff is awesome. And he used it in conjunction with the wash. And I mean, what was your first experience on that, Dan, when you had that stuff in beard and you got out of the shower?
Yeah, I was worried, and Evan says hate is a strong word. I almost would rather pick sunburn than putting on sunscreen lotion. I hate the feel, man. I hate the feel. And it was fantastic. It did exactly what I wanted to. Like you touched on, I don't want a lot of residue left over. I want my beard to detangle and I want it to be soft. That's it. That's all I need from a conditioner. And this does that to the T. And I knew this was an important product at launch. I was going to be, like we said, we changed the beard wash. And
Yep.
I would have done the same for the conditioner. And so it just does exactly what I want and exactly what I need on those conditioning days. And then
Yeah.
to touch on E, E, thanks for being here. Yeah, alcohol, I've had a couple of videos on this. There are good alcohols out there when it comes to water-based products. There are bad alcohols, of course, too. And then he asks, is there an easy way to understand these scientific names? No. Unfortunately, unless you look up each individual one, there's no shortcuts, there's no rule of thumbs. It is very difficult. Even understanding and articulating these washes and conditioners is a huge task because of the way they go together. I just made my daily wash, stripping wash video, and you can tell on an oil what the viscosity is like, likely what it's going to do for your beard. Nobody can really tell from an ingredient list what the true story of a wash and conditioner. So E, I wish, man, but just no. Unfortunately, it's not possible to like learn any rules or anything like that.
I feel like that's by design too. You know, you look at that and it's like categorically, like you said, Evan, I actually think the same thing when I look at stuff. And when we were first evaluating recipes, I even kind of took exception with Dan. I was like, oh God, you know, there's some of these things that just kind of don't stand out to me as something that are the type of ingredients we would use in a product. And, you know, he had to refer me back to some of his videos, and I went and did a ton of research, and there really is no way. But you look at the cetyl alcohol, the stearic acid, all those types of things. I mean, stearic acid, again, it's a great ingredient to be able to have as a thickening agent because it's all natural, it's plant derived, and it's a natural byproduct of a ton of different plant proteins. And so it's one of those weird things where some of the things you know could stand out as not being so great, but you really do have to look into it. And what I learned is that if I look up an ingredient and it says anything about plant derived this or that for this, right? Eco certified, those types of things. I've found that you're not going to find too many damaging ingredients that start with those types of descriptions, right? And so if it's plant-based, it's plant-derived, eco-certified, those types of things are probably not bad ingredients. And in this case, they're actually really, really good ingredients. So And then Mark, what you just said about, we talked about the prices. Yes, we did a ton of market research on this stuff, right? And just like always, we wanted to bring you what other people are charging top dollar for and figure out a way to bring that into a palatable market price, right? And I think we did that with these. You look at, for example, our face wash. Jill has a face wash that she uses where its first ingredient is aloe, and it's $60 a bottle, and we're doing this for 18, right? So I can tell you right now that once your wives catch on to this stuff that we'll talk about in a minute, you're going to have to be buying double of this stuff, because Sephora has met their match, my friends, with the quality of this face wash. I guarantee you that you are not going to find another men's focused face wash out there that has this level of ingredients. And I think that's true across the board with this stuff, but especially with that. But yes, thank you for noticing that. I think we really nailed it on the price point, and we did it, still leaving ourselves the ability to do what we're doing with the body wash, which is supporting a really cool charitable cause, which we'll talk about in a minute. But we didn't sacrifice ourselves or quality or ingredients or any of the things we wanted to do with these releases. So I think thank you for noticing that and pointing it out. But just to kind of wrap up on the conditioner side of things here, just like how the other one is an aloe hemp wash, this one is aloe and avocado oil are the two real main saponification ingredients. If you look at where any sort of cleanser that's in this conditioner, which there is a teeny bit from the avocado oil saponification process, they didn't leave all the super fats in there. So this obviously does still have a little bit of cleaning action to it, but the only reason for that is to get rid of some of the residual soaps that are in the wash. Like, your conditioner needs to cleanse your beard of any residual soap, and it needs the ability to do that. And what happens when soap meets soap, right? It's a polymer. So it encapsulates each other. Just like you introduce oil and oil, they mix. Oil and water, they don't, right? When you get a polymer with a polymer, a polypolymer especially, those things are going to encapsulate each other and then rinse out. And that's really important to have in a conditioner. Otherwise, you could be left with soapy residue if your conditioner is not removing those things while it's replenishing moisture. So it's another really interesting little technical detail of how to get these things to work together properly. And I think these two just pair really nicely. And as a final note on that, I did the detangle test with this stuff. And boy, so I had a braided beard in the morning, woke up, had it braided from the night before, took the braids out. I had my Cthulhu tentacles hanging there, and get in the shower, do the wash, and do the conditioner. And first day I did it, I used my big Chicago comb, right? My nice wide tooth. What number is that?
Number 8.
Number 8? Okay. And so, the number 8, and it's nice and wide tooth, and it glides through no problem. And then I was like, I'm going to put this thing through the real test. So I took out my Viking, whatever it is, Amazon special fine toothed, I use it on my mustache sometimes when I'm trying to get like a balm and I'm trying to shape it. I'll use the fine tooth guy in there. In the shower, still wet, not using a detangler brush first, I was able to put the fine tooth side of that comb straight through my beard. And no problem. Tell me any other conditioner out there where in the shower, fully wet, you can put a fine tooth comb through it with no snags. I mean, that's awesome. That was impressive.
So cool.
Yeah. But anyway,
all right.
That's that stuff. So there's our wash. There's our conditioner. Let's move on to body wash. So here is our body wash. It comes in an 8-ounce bottle. And I'm going to pull it up on the site here so I can speak to some of the things that we have listed on here. But again, really good price point. We made it $15. A lot of people out there have 16-ounce body washes that go anywhere between 25 and 35. And so for 8 ounces, we fell right in the middle of that price point. And I think we're again, for the ingredients list, I think we're on the low side for what you get, right? You get so much lather out of this stuff that you don't need much on the washcloth or the loofah, right? I'm a loofah guy. And so I get a lot of really good sudsing action out of one of those things. And actually I moved away from the loofah and I moved to one of those kind of like loofah material little bath towel kind of things. It's like a washcloth sized towel that's made out of loofah material, and you kind of ball it up and use that. And that way you can scrub your back with it too if you want. I really like them. And I like them so much, actually, that I'm looking at a supplier right now where we can do black Dr. Nick's branded wash towels that are exfoliating. And so they're really cool because we have a nice, smooth body wash gel, essentially. Figure I like to get a little exfoliating in there. And so I think that's probably going to be coming up next year. I want those on the store bad in our accessory section. But again, this stuff, just like the wash, its main ingredients are aloe and hemp. So you have aloe and hemp as the two main saponification ingredients. So it's going to have the same qualities we talked about, not over drying, not over stripping, not going to leave you feeling chapped or red, but you're going to get a good rinse out of it. Right. And another real important factor for me, just because I'm sensitive to it, I don't like any residual soap smell on a body wash. If I'm going to put on deodorant afterwards and I got like that filmy residue you get from some hard bar soaps, where you get like that kind of, squeaky feeling on your skin. They always say squeaky clean. I call that squeaky residue. And I don't want any of that. So our body wash does not do that to you. Really smooth, goes on really nice, lathers up really, really well. With the number 7, it smells fantastic. Your shower smells like the number 7 beard oil bottle when you first open it up. What was that? Would a 16 ounce be considered for the best wash? Oh, for the body wash. Yes. So I think we are going to actually offer another variant of this and bump it up to 16. So this will be probably in the future here, 8 and 16. And then the body wash will come in 4 and 8. And we may or may not have another option for the conditioner coming out as well. Kind of depends on feedback from you guys. Yeah. And so Evan, yes, 1000% yes. And it's one of those things. Some people don't care. Some people do. Again, I don't like to bring up names of other companies in a negative connotation, but I can tell you that there is a large bar soap company out there who does lots of really cool marketing. And I've tried a lot of their soaps and I really wanted to like it, like some of the pine tar stuff and other stuff out there. It sounded awesome. And I was really excited to try it, so much to the point where I think I have like 4 or 5 bars of it of different varieties in my bathroom. And I just can't do it. And it's because of that. Like whenever I'm walking from the shower to my sink and I can feel the skipping squeak, or you get it on your arms or your hands and you feel it. I did confirm with someone who works with a lot of soaps. And I said, is that just what your skin feels like when it's all the way stripped out of oils? Like, is that like natural? Am I supposed to feel like a wetsuit when I'm done? Like, does my skin supposed to feel like neoprene when it touches my skin? And he said, no, absolutely not. He's like, that is residual soap. Like the residual soap will grip and stick on your skin and you'll get that skippy kind of squeaky feeling. And that's residual soap. There's no two ways about it. Your skin doesn't feel like that naturally. And so wet skin, when it's naturally clean, does not do that. But you look at this ingredients list again, right here, it's all natural, all plant derived. The 2 main ingredients that you get your washing power from are the aloe and the hemp seed oil. It hydrates, it softens. It's just a fantastic body wash. And on top of being a fantastic body wash, I'm going to tell you guys again, we mentioned it in another stream, but again, someone watching this that's researching and they're trying to make a decision. You guys have kind of been along for the journey. So this might be repeated information for you. So apologies for being redundant if that's the case. This body wash has a really good cause. And we're waiting to put this on the website because we're doing a press release with it, with the company that we're working with. But our first organization that we're working with is called Friends of Boston Homeless. They run a series of homeless shelters, group homes, and individual living apartments for people who are homeless for whatever reason and getting back on their feet. And we've collaborated with them where every bottle of this that we sell enables us to donate a bottle of this to those shelters. So here's their site right here, Friends of Boston's Homeless. And we're doing a few things with them that I'll talk about here. But basically, they get the soaps and the body washes and all this stuff that goes into these group homes. They get them from essentially food pantries. And retail stores donate surplus stock to some of these food pantries to help stock up some of the personal care items. And these guys are using like, Lever 2000 and Suave, 50-cent bottles of, detergent heavy stripping soaps. And we were talking to these guys, and it just made too much sense. So we are actually fully sponsoring right out of the gate at the launch of this. They get their products next week, the week after Thanksgiving. We're going to be basically dropping off and fully stocking these shelters, group homes, and stocking the bathrooms of each of their individual living apartments with this body wash. So the people that are in these programs are living in these situations. The lady who runs the organization who deals with their outreach and community involvement programs, she even pointed it out. She's like, anything you can do to brighten someone's day when they're homeless and they're feeling desperate and life at the time just isn't great. Something that smells good can change their day, right? Something that feels good on their skin could change their day. And you got to think, us out there, me, you, probably everybody, if you're gainfully employed, you still have to scratch and claw for your existence every day in the world that we're in, right? You have to prove and re-demonstrate your value to your employer, to your partners, to your spouse, to your friends, right? You're constantly going through these, trying to, again, just reassure, yourself in the world. Now imagine doing that starting from the ground up with no worldly possessions, no money, no official place of residence, right? You're going out into the world, fresh every day with that, trying to prove yourself, to get a leg up, to make it to that next step and getting back on your feet. And honestly, anything we can do to help that, we'd love to do it. And if what we can do is give someone a good shower experience in the morning and make them feel good and smell good and wake them up and make them feel like there's just a little touch of something nice in their day when they first started off, I'm going to do it. And if it's something as simple as helping people get clean with something that smells good, hey, that's the role I'm going to take. And so Jill and I struck up a great relationship with these guys. And the more of this we sell, the more of these shelters we're able to do this in. And we're going to continue doing this nationwide. Every city where we start expanding into and we start getting a foothold with our products and retailers and traction, we're going to start bringing those programs to those cities and those communities that are in need. And to go one step further on that, not to sit here and talk about this for too long, there's another program that they have where they help people that are in these situations get career training, certifications. Maybe they need a diploma or a GED or career specific vocational training. and through speaking with these people, I said, hey, what happens when someone is ready to start going out to job interviews and they have facial hair? It can be stigmatic sometimes in certain industries. Like, what do you guys do? And they say, well, our career coaches recommend people shave, go clean shaven, get rid of all the facial hair and go out into the workforce, without mustaches, beards, whatever. And so I thought about that and I'm like, wait a minute. So you're taking someone that's already not comfortable right now with who they are, right? Because whatever their situation might be, they're probably not feeling their best. And now you're having them change their appearance on top of it, right? So now they're even more insecure about what they're going to go out and do. And we all know mindset is key, right? You got to feel good about yourself to make other people feel good about you, right? And so what we teamed up and did is with Sims Barber Lab in Boston. If you look up best beard barber Boston, you'll find this guy, Nate, from Sims Barber Lab. Great guy, great company, awesome place. And they're high end though, right? They're pricey to go in there for a beard trim. It's a really nice shop right downtown. And so what we decided to do was team up with Nate, and everyone that's graduating one of these career programs and they're starting to go out onto interviews and they have facial hair that they'd like to keep. Nate has donated a chair and his time at his shop to be able to trim these guys up with a haircut and a beard trim and get them looking really good to go out into the workforce. And we're donating all the products they need to maintain that look. So I'm going to meet them there. We're going to do a story and a bio on everyone that sits in that chair. We're going to talk about it here on Doctor's Orders and tell their story. We're going to put it on the website. And we're going to talk about who this person is, what they're going out in the world to do, the difference they want to make, who they want to be, and how they want to do it. And we're going to help advocate their story. And we're going to help set them up for success by looking their best. And so, again, this wash is what powers that whole engine and makes all of that possible. So, super exciting. Good body wash with a good cause, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is wonderful. I'm a body wash guy. I use bar soap as well. I usually just on my underarms, and and if I do like a random like I don't know, super dirty day and I want to use a bar soap, but it's so good. The lather, you feel fresh, you feel clean afterwards. I absolutely love it. Sam has even commented on it that the shower smells nice afterwards.
Man, yeah, I think the exact same thing. And it's funny you pulled that comment up. I was just reading that from Tim. Thanks, Tim. I told Dan this a while back when we were talking about stuff and growing this company and what it's going to turn into. And I think stewardship and advocacy are two really important components that are kind of building blocks for what we're doing here. And I told Dan this, and it's 1,000% true. I want my success measured on the success of the people around me, right? And whether that be, Dan, Jill, anyone else who is involved in our businesses, or the lives that we impact by doing what we do, right? I want that to be the legacy. I want those to be the stories people tell. And I want that to be the way people discover us as a company, learning about what we do and how we do it first, then experiencing our products. And I think it's the right way to do it. And I think it just makes too much sense. I mean, it's who we are at our core anyway. And I think this just really helps broadcast that.
Absolutely. All right.
Let's do it. Face wash time. So this one's exciting. Yeah, not like they're all exciting, but I can tell you, this is one that I'm pretty much the most excited about, I think, right? I had a beard wash that I kind of liked, okay, and it did its job, and I didn't really use a conditioner much, and I just dealt with it. I had a body wash, be perfectly clear, I used until this, I used Neutrogena Body Clear, right? Cleans the pores, has some salicylic acid in it. I love it. It was great. Little over drying, tons of detergents inside of it. Probably terrible for you, but I used it for a lot of years because it's what I used and I liked it. And for a face wash, I used a really expensive face wash. It was like 67. Actually, the one that I got was a big bottle. So it was like $75 a bottle. It was expensive face wash. And it's because I get really irritated super easy, right? I get hot spots like right in here. I get them inside my eyes. I get them on my cheeks. I get redness. And if you look at me today, I have no redness. And I actually showed Dan, I was going to share the photo on Instagram, but I don't know. It was in my bathroom and I don't know. It wasn't the look I liked, but I actually did a before and after for Dan. I used another face wash for like 4 or 5 days, and I got out of the shower, and Dan can attest to this. I had red marks going from here all the way up here in my eye socket, and I had red marks right here on my cheeks. And it was just from being over dried, right? Overwashed, overstripped. And I don't have any of that now. So if we look at the face wash and we really look at these ingredients here, I'm going to pull it up on the site. Dan will do the same here. Aloe and hemp seed oil, again, as the stars of the show. It's the main ingredients that build the soap inside of this. I don't think many people out there, at least no one I've talked to, and you guys might have, but I had never really tried an all natural oil based cleanser on my face before. I think maybe I had a couple of times with like a Castile soap product, but it was super harsh, made the problems worse. And it's a totally different experience, right? I mean, Dan can attest to this. He was actually having some face climate issues based on new gym regimen, getting a little sweatier in the morning, coming back. Maybe you have 2 showers in the day and getting over dry. And he was actually having kind of a hard time knocking it down himself. And it was funny because he started having that problem right when we started formulating this stuff. And so I sent him out the very first, like barely even scented. I think I had the base figured out, and I just dropped some number 7 base essential oil in it for him and shook it up and stuck it in the mail. and his problems cleared up pretty quick, didn't they, Dan?
Yeah, it was exactly that. I had started going to the gym, working out every day, getting sweaty, and my body just kind of freaked out like, what's going on? And also, a little added thing, I think one of the things that compounded the problem was I started doing daily protein shakes, and I don't really consume dairy. I just eat meat, potatoes,
Mm.
beans, and rice and
And
Mountain
then you were
Dew.
getting whey
And
protein.
and I think it was the dairy that was adding on to it as well. And
Could be.
that's an uphill battle, right? You're fighting from the inside. And
Right.
this was the only thing that was helping me out. I literally have my first one, and a little bit goes a long way, but I have it sitting on the shower upside down so I can get every little drop out of it because I'm almost out and I've cherished it. It has made that big of a difference for me.
Well, don't worry. We got more coming your way probably this afternoon when we get some orders out the door. Yours will be on the way as well. Take note of that, Jill.
Oh,
Dan,
yeah,
emergency. Dan is out of face wash.
it's true.
So when you get back from Florida, that should be waiting for you in your mailbox. But man,
Beautiful.
yeah. And Joe pointed out rice bran oil. Yeah, rice bran oil. It's the only one of these soaps that has rice bran oil in it, and it works really well with the aloe and the hemp. And again, it's, not to repeat myself over and over again, but this is 100% plant derived, 100% vegan, all natural ingredients. Which just adds to the cool factor, I think, because it's definitely a minority out there in the face wash world. Comes in a
Yeah.
4-ounce variety.
And rice bran is not cheap, especially when the number one supplier in the world is Ukraine. And
Yep.
so those prices have skyrocketed. But it was so important that Jill and Nick didn't want to compromise the quality, the intentions of it because the price was going up. It's so good.
Yeah, it's so worth it. And I think at $18, with a 4-ounce bottle, I bet you'll get 2 months out of one of these. I think with the first 4-ounce I have, I think it did last right at about 60 days or so. And I use it religiously every day. And a little bit does go a really long way. And you know what else is another really interesting side effect? Rice bran oil is in a lot of really high-end hair shampoos. So if you're like me and you have this style haircut, then I use it on my head too. So I get my face, right? I do my beard first and I let the soap sit in there and I do its thing. Then I condition my beard. And while the conditioner is sitting in my beard, that's when I wash my face. So I wash my face, and that's for 2 reasons. Is I wash my face, I wash my head, and another weird thing, right? Your ears get really oily through the night from sleeping on the side of your head. Right around outside of your ears is really prone to building up oils. And this works great for the inside of that inside part of your ear, your face, and if you're bald like me, on top of your head. And what I noticed in the winter months, and I know a couple people have commented on this here, you get the T-zone flakes in the winter. I get flakes on my head in the winter if I'm not careful. And this stuff knocks that down too, where I'm not getting the flakes afterwards. I don't need to moisturize my head nearly as much during the winter. The past month or so, now that it's gotten cold and I've been trying this stuff, I haven't needed that anymore. This adds a little bit of moisture and some residual oils, and it helps balance those natural oils of your face. Your face should not be a cast iron skillet that you ignore and gets sandy and you wipe it off a little bit, right? Or then when it gets really dirty, you just say, forget it and strip everything off and start from scratch. Your face hates that. It is not cast iron. It should not be neglected. It should not be stripped only when extremely dirty. It should be a daily process, and you should be reintroducing some good natural oils onto your skin while it's wet before you go and apply other products. What I'll say about the conditioner, the reason I leave that in there when I'm doing my face wash is I want that conditioner to act like a barrier against the residual soaps that are coming off my face. So when I'm in the shower, I put the conditioner in, let it sit, and I go and I wash my face and my head. When you go and rinse that, all that soap is running down and filtering through your beard. So if the conditioner is not there, you do run the risk of potentially getting a little bit of that face wash and use it on the skin underneath your beard. I use it on my neck and I get it on my fingers. Sometimes I get right down here in the edges. And if the conditioner is still in your hair, you're not going to strip your beard too much while you do that, which is great. It acts like a barrier to the other cleanser. So then when you're done, you rinse from, top down, and then you get down and rinse out all that conditioner and you're good, right? You got clean hair, you got clean skin, and you have a softened, conditioned beard when you're done. And it really does give you a good head start getting out of the shower.
Yeah, and I would agree there. If you use it, it can be on the edges of the cheek where it's meeting it.
Yeah.
But a face wash is intended as a skin wash. A beard wash is skin and hair. So this is not something, Evan, that's like a 2-in-1 or we would recommend using on your beard. We recommend the beard wash and then we recommend the face wash respectively. And as long as your beard is saturated with fresh water, and then especially if you have conditioner on it, that runoff is not going to be a big deal. You'll be totally fine. You just don't want to really work it in and really concentrate on the beard. It's just not intended for that.
No, nope. And the beard wash does a great job of getting the skin underneath your beard, because you got to remember the skin on your face, right? It is bare, empty hair follicles, right? If anything, you got those little wispy hairs on your cheeks and stuff. Whereas the beard wash, right? It's meant for, like Dan said, the skin that holds your beard hair. So it's meant to clarify those pores and take care of the hair follicle without over drying it and irritating the bottom of your hair. So the skin on your face, although your beard is on your face, once you have a beard on that section of your face, that then becomes a different climate than the rest of the skin on your face.
Literally.
It does. It transforms it.
It's just true. Well, hey, everybody, we got about 3 minutes here left. Nick's got some work to do today. They got some orders to fill and pack, and I got to get some word out. But officially, after months and months of research and testing and hard work and passion and excitement, the beard wash, the beard conditioner, the face wash, and the body wash are officially live and out. Nick,
love it.
Go ahead and take them away. End this awesome show. And I want to give a special shout out to Jill as well. She's killing it, working her butt off. And she always just seems so passionate and happy to do all of this.
Oh, she's pumped down there. She had the label machine was screaming this morning, and she's down there packing orders right now. Loving life. Got some music playing, and got her shop supervisor, Sarah, down there. And, it was funny. I was telling Dan one little last story here. When I was messing with the site this morning, getting everything staged up and ready to go, I accidentally made the products live on the site. It wasn't on a menu even. Like the menu item for shower products wasn't there, but they accidentally went active underneath all products. And it probably lasted for about 10 minutes. And I didn't even notice until my phone beeped and a notification came up and it was an order. And I looked at it and it was for all 4 shower products. And I was like, oh crap, that's live. That's not supposed to be live yet. So I went and I killed it until the beginning of this stream, but it was live for 10 minutes this morning. And we saw full line of everything went out the door right away. So it was congratulations to the lucky winner who noticed my mistake for the 10 minutes that it happened. But that's how fast these things are going, man. So get on it quick. Another note, if it's out of stock, if we have more coming, it's going to be live on Monday after Thanksgiving. We're getting replenished. We have more bottling happening this weekend. If anything is out of stock, I'm going to try to get the notify me when available box working on the quantity. So if you do want to get notified when it pops back in, it'll be there. If not, check back in next week. I promise they're there. And if anything goes out of stock for Black Friday or anything else, and there happens to be a sale on any of these, I'm going to extend that for when it's back in stock for the length of time that it was out. So don't worry about missing out. If you go and you're trying to get something, we will give you a chance to get this next week. We're just dealing with the demand, and which we greatly appreciate. So thanks for the support. Thanks for everything. We're excited to hear what you guys think. I hope you love it. I'm sure you will. And thanks for hanging out with us here on a Tuesday. We'll see you again next week.